Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is June 15th. And I just have to say, we're in this, what I would say is exceptionally volatile, energetic window. There are so many pieces that have been coming together astrologically, so through the solar flares, through the plasma, through everything. So it's just astrological, it's galactic, it's political, it's personal, and we're just sort of holding on, like, oh, what's going on? So what I want to talk today to you about today is the field. What do we notice in our field? What can we do about it? And how can we anchor, some real true self-care, like self-care that's so deep, so good. And it's not the fluffy kind. What we're talking about is how to protect our energy and restore our sovereignty, like restore our sense of who we are. Okay. So buckle up. Here we go. Okay. First and foremost, before we get going, I just want to say that for the last 10 years, I've been, you're going to laugh, handwriting out and starting here and kind of going in my little circle because this is how my mind works, right? It's very physical and graphic. And I'm working with some new software and some new ideas on how to actually write it all out on my computer and then work with it. But I don't really like reading printed words. So you're going to see me sort of trying to figure it out. That's just, we're going to get used to it. But this is me trying something new. So hang in there, okay? Okay, so first and foremost, what we have, and I love this card. It's through the Rumi, and it's I surge on the uprising wave of love. And it's kind of like here's this earth, and it's like being totally swirled around. And it feels like this is what's going on for us. And I've shown you this card before, which is how do we sort of stabilize ourselves in the midst of all of this chaos that's going on. So first and foremost, we have a solar flare activity, which means that we've got an active sun and some intense winds. So first and foremost, we've had 9 active sunspots, and we've had G2 storms. Thursday, Friday, they were G4 or KP4, KP5. So these are G2 or G1 storms. We've gone from KP6 yesterday, and then today on Sunday, if you're watching this, we're going to be hanging around the KP5, which means the auroras are up, the energy is intense, and that's going to continue on to tomorrow. We've got these high-speed solar winds that destabilize the magnetic field, both in the earth and in our own. You can expect more of the same symptoms like heart palpitations, dizziness, anxiety, dryness of the mouth, dryness of the eyes, disrupted sleep. And the nervous system is overstimulated. So what that can look like is we're trying to go through the day-to-day work, but we just don't have the energy for it. We get overwhelmed and we don't know how to focus on what we need to, what's in front of us. And we're realizing that we don't have the energy or the strength to keep carrying other people's agendas forward, right? Makes sense. So when our nervous system is slowly is overstimulated, it means that slow putting things down, stopping things is our ally, right? This is how we have to stop all of this. Because the other part is that I want to point out that as energetic beings, this is the high priestess card. We feel everything coming in, and when everything's coming in and it's wobbling us, it means that we're picking up on things that, again, are metaphysical. They're invisible. We don't know what they are. We can't see them, but they are affecting us, right? So first and foremost, the solar activity is intense. Second, we go to the astrology. We're just coming off of that huge strawberry moon, which was the lowest rise and set in here in Montana. It was beautiful. It was just red. We have um, we're heading into the summer solstice, but right now we have Mars and Uranus in a square. So Mars is fiery, Uranus is like blow it up, break it apart. We have Jupiter and Saturn in a square. So Saturn's going, are we doing this the way we want to do this? And Jupiter's expanding that. And those are both of those squares are exact today. Now, the reason I'm bringing those up, not that you have to know astrology, but know that it creates an extreme tension, and there's these rebellious outbursts, and there's unexpected drama. Sound familiar? That's what's going on today in astrology, right? So societies are tested, individuals are feeling super impulsive, irritable, like we're just kind of going like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And our kids or the people in our life are like, what's going on with you? And you're like, I'm so overstimulated, I can't do this anymore, right? Is we're in this pressure cooker. It's putting all of this and I didn't find this. There's one that's called suppression, which is a card where it's just like everything's just pushing on you, and the emotional volatility is high. So you want to be really aware of things like projections. Somebody else putting their shit on you, whether you ask them to or not. Okay. Just know that all of that's cooking. Okay. So knowing that we're in a pressure cooker and it's swirling, I've got a couple more things to add to that, right? Okay. First, Alexander Quinn talked about, well, first and foremost, all of that came from Pam Young. It's because I love following her astrology and I love following her solar flare updates. Let's move over to Alexander Quinn, and he talked about Antares. Now, Antares is one of those galactic planets that's not in the traditional zodiac and not within our studied solar system, right? But Antares is the body is this huge planet, and it works with water. And so when Antares is involved and plasma is hitting our Earth, it's looking like, between the full moon, between the plasma wave that Alexander Quinn says is an enormous plasma wave that hit us Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now I'm going into Monday, right? So when Antares, which is water-based, it's going to restructure. It's going to take the things that don't work for us, and it's going to look like chaos and feel like everything's falling apart, but we're being restructured, right? So it's not destruction. It's reordering is the way that he phrased it. And I love that. So what we have is this collective mental instability, and some of these old familial karmic patterns are coming up, and we just look like we're crazy. We look like we're a shit show, right? So when Antares is involved, he talked about something which I thought was really important, which was why I brought it up for you. Dryness in the eyes. It's almost as if you can't get your eyes hydrated, and your body is needing a lot more hydration than normal, right? So then there's when we're dehydrated and we're not taking care of ourselves, when we're dealing with all of this onset of information coming into our bodies, we also get deep fatigue, right? So this is a recalibrating wave that Alexander Quinn, and he did two posts, one at the beginning of the week and one on Friday, kind of like, whoa, something's coming. And so I pay attention when that comes up. Next thing I want to just toss out there is that whether those who script the global scenario, the archons, the reptilians, the elite, the off planet, whatever terminology works for you, just know that they understand. They work with astrology. They work with symbols. They work with numbers. They work with sine waves. They work with grids. They work with solar windows. So when we're seeing these escalated events coming up, it's kind of like, hey, let's plan something when Mars and Uranus and Jupiter and Saturn are square, and let's build on that tension and really agitate on a energetic level. So whether that's the No Kings protests, whether it's the cyber attacks, whether it's the media dumps, like I'm noticing that the media just sort of sounds like the same thing. And this is the off-channel stuff that I've been following. They're all starting to parrot and do something I haven't quite noticed before. And so I'm going to put this card up here, which is the Lovers. Now, in traditional tarot, it's always this masculine, feminine, in some sort of romantic picture. But what I like about Osho is it shows that you're looking at you in the reflection of the mirror. You are dealing with your own field and your own energy, and you need to be in sync with that. And it's really hard when there's this emotional hijacking going on, when there's timed, escalated hijacking of our emotional bodies. It's sort of like almost vampirism. like let's just create some chaos. And then when you're watching it nonstop, and a girlfriend who's like, well, are you watching the No Kings? And I was like, I can't do that. Right now, I'm doing everything I can to breathe and stay in my body and be present. Adding a more additional irritations or visuals isn't going to help me. And I would pass that on to you, right? Next piece I want to put in there is that if you're an organic, um, if you prefer organic food, right? And I'm a from scratch cook, and I use all organic ingredients, and I cook for my body. I cook to heal. It's been really frustrating because UNFI, United Natural Foods, had a cyber attack on June 5th. And what happened was it broke down their food distribution, their inventory, everything was basically UNFI is the main supplier of Whole Foods and all of these ancillary smaller health food stores, Nature's Grocers, your local health food store, our supermarket that has this kick-ass organic section, all have these signs that say, due to inventory distribution, we're doing the best we can to get shelves in. So I talked to our store manager, and it was like, he can't he can't get the supplies in. Their computers are chaos. They cannot increase the backlog of material of supplies that didn't come in, right? And so the way that I'm going to say it is it felt like it was very deliberate. Not only is it chaotic, but you can't get the foods and the supplies that you need to support yourself. So I will always look at organic food as like a spiritual tool. It's how I take care of my body. It's how I resource with myself, and it's how I resource with others. And I'm just angry that the food that I need isn't on the shelves. And so then it's like, wow, remember this, remember this, remember this, because there's going to be times when this may happen again. And I need to know what I'm going to do because right now it's frustrating. Okay. Um, I did briefly mention this, which is, the parroting of the collective voice. So, I'm scrolling through, and it used to be fun to go through Instagram or Facebook or X or TikTok or anything and look for a new voice or look for something that was coming in. It was like, that's unique. I like that. And so what I was looking for in scanning, because I'm an energetic scanner, was something that stepped out of the fray. And what I'm noticing now is that the messaging is all back in the fray again. It doesn't matter if they're people I liked and followed, doesn't matter if it's new information. It feels like, what I want to say, it's overly aligned, it's suspiciously cohesive, and it feels like a script. And there was a girlfriend of mine who went to a Tibetan bowl ceremony, and it really like opened up her field. And when we tried to talk to her, she just looked at us with this sort of blank stare and said, words, 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 just stop giving me words. And I keep hearing that in my head when I'm scrolling and looking for new information on social media channels, on back channels, trying to find out, because it's been so much fun to trace or track these new things that are happening as they're going along, right? That was really fun for me. Now I'm just noticing that the field is distorted. There's this global algorithm that doesn't feels very suspicious to me, and it's trying to override my inner knowing. And I know that that's not going to happen because I don't want my own inner guidance to be blocked. So now's the time to turn inward, not push through it, but to go like, who am I? What do I need right now? And how do I move through this in a different level, right? So before we get to the tips, what I want to say is that this isn't the time to get more informed. This isn't, if I don't follow this, I'm going to be left out or I'm going to miss something, because what we're doing is we're witnessing chaos. And chaos is going to create chaos inside you, right? So this is the time to listen to your body and to your heart and to the stillness that you can create the beneath the noise, because the noise is just so loud, because there's this primeval purge going on. Like, I got to cut these things out, and my energetic structures are being realigned, and I have to learn how to take in all of these lies, all of this control, all of this algorithm control, I can't do that anymore. I won't do that anymore. It means that I'm coming into my own sovereignty and I'm inviting you to do the same thing. Okay. So I have 6 tips for you today. And before I go to that, I just want to remind you that I have a Patreon. It's a place where we can gather and talk. And we post Alexander Quinn, we post Zach Fisher, Pamela, Pam Youngins, everybody we can find to sort of keep this information going, and we support one another there. So if that's something that's useful to you, please come and join. Okay. Okay. Tip number 1. Sovereign filtering. That's what I'm going to call it, right? Sovereign filtering, which is choose your inputs really wisely. This is where you have to be so discerning. Only allow information into your field, into your space, right? That aligns with your body's truth. Only the things that align, and say, does this nourish me or does this drain me? Does this is the choice that I'm at right now. Do I want to be this human or do I want to be this human? Only let into your body what nourishes you. Makes sense, right? And if it feels like programming, shut it down. If it feels like you're being picked up and taken somewhere, step out and go, yep, nope. And that's where we get to use our Queen of Swords, and we get to be completely discerning as to what we play with and what we don't play with, right? Okay, number 2. This is super hydrate time. And we've talked about doing it with structured water and doing it with electrolytes, because between the solar waves and the Antares wave that's drying and purging us up, it's like, your cells need water that carries frequency. We need not just water, but water that's actually here to sustain us. So that might look like putting a pinch of Celtic or sea salt, right? Any sea salt or real salt, any real good salt. Put it in your water, put it in your foods, bathe in it, right? Shungite is a really good stone to carry. And then I've noticed that I've had this, it's all tangled in my hair. I've had this beautiful rose quartz necklace. It's huge, right? And I have it right next to my toothbrush, and I put it on every morning, and it's been helping. And I also have little rose quartz earrings on, and that has helped bring my body into alignment. And then the other thing is that citrus, lemon, especially, and mint can treat hydration, as a spiritual integration. It helps bring all of this together. So I've got mint growing out in my yard. I just snip some and crunch it together a little bit and put it in the water, and it helps. It helps tremendously. Okay. Number 3, slow down your nervous system. The external pace is artificial and it's chaotic. So choose the slow movement, the long, deep breaths, right? The low activity activities during the day. Take your nights and make them very peaceful. Now, I don't have a sprinkler system because I have this sort of wild rural backyard. And about 8 o'clock to 8:30, I go out barefoot with the hose and I just talk to the plants and I water them. And that's how I bring my evening to a close. It takes me about 45 minutes to an hour. And at that point, I just sort of close up the house, close up my life, and go to bed. And after I'm done, and it's just like the best way to bring it all in. Okay. Because what we want to do is retune that vagus nerve. We want to start to align ourselves with what is possible. Okay. Number 4, ground to the earth. Ground, 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 ground. The earth is the only algorithm-free field. And, it means that if we get out and we plant something, we work with our hands in the soil, we go barefoot, we touch trees, we even lie on the ground, it's going to help us. It's going to help us tremendously, right? And that's what we need to do. Ground, 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 ground. And number 5, say it out loud. I do not consent. I do not consent to this collective violence, this emotional hijacking, this food tampering, this distorted information. And I speak my boundaries out loud. Nope, I'm not doing this. I do not consent to have this come in. What it does is it declares that we have this vibrational sovereignty. and it resets our field. And then our field is the way that we want it. Okay. Number 6, offer compassion always, first to yourself, as you know, and then to others, because everyone's moving through this intensity in their own way, gripping. Some people are really overburdened, some people are agitated, and some of us are just holding it with this queen sovereignty that has been so much more beautiful to navigate through than anything I would have imagined. So we're not here to be spectators of this collapse. We are frequency holders, and our frequency is in our bodies, in our field, right? So then, as the noise rises, you clear your field, you listen to your heart, you walk gently through nature, and you begin to hold the truth. You're not here to fight in the storm. You're here to create a new atmosphere of peace. So the peace starts inside, and then it moves out. So I hope that that makes sense to you. And if you would like to make a comment, subscribe, like, do anything else in that, that would be awesome. And I will see you next week. Take care of yourself. Bye.